Hi, and welcome back to the Reading Corner. Today, I'm going to be doing the Newbie Booktuber Challenge, or Tag. I originally got this idea from the Cari Can Read's channel. I love her channel. She makes such interesting content about YA novels as well as fantasy novels. And then she also has a second channel called Cari Cakes, where she documents her life living in Seoul. So I love both her channels, and I have linked her channel in the channel featured section of my YouTube channel. She originally got this challenge from Reads with Cindy, who got the questions from Brenda C. So with that, let's jump into the Booktube challenge, or tag, whatever you want to call it. The first question is, why did I start this channel? So I started this channel because I was talking to a friend of mine, and she asked me, how do you know what to rate your books? How do you know how to rate them? And I told her that I got it from a friend of mine, and she said, can you send it to me? And I said, yeah. So I sent it to her in a text, and she said, this is awesome. You should do a book podcast with your friend who gave you this rating system. And so I was talking to that friend, and she said, why don't you do a YouTube channel? So this is how it all got started. And I also got the YouTube channel name from an English assignment that I did, and we had to do a fake awards ceremony, and I did it in a blog format, and so I had to come up with a name for the blog, and I came up with the Reading Corner. So that is where it all started. Question 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So I create playlists on Spotify for all the books that I love. So, for example, I have one for Fourth Wing that I'm currently working on. And if there are any songs that I listen to that I think describe the book in song form, I add that to the playlist. So a scene, a relationship in the book, I add that song to the playlist. And then I order the songs in the order that I think describes the book. So I'm currently working on one for Fourth Wing, and I will be uploading that to YouTube soon once I pin down the order of the songs that I want them to be in on the playlist. I also have a disability, and so I love reading books with disability representation, and I love analyzing it and thinking about how well the disability is represented, and how the author decides to represent that disability in the book. For example, Fourth Wing has disability representation in it, and I thought about doing a YouTube video talking about that disability representation. So if you're interested in that, drop it in the comments below. Also, for October, which is Disability Awareness Month, I will be doing a special video for that, talking about books that I have read and that I love that do disability representation well. So you have that to look forward to in October as well. Question 3. What are you excited about for this channel? I love books, and I love talking about books. I do it with my friend all the time. I'm just excited to do that here on this platform. There's nothing I'm hoping for necessarily. This channel will be what it will be, and I'm not striving for anything. I'm not striving for a particular, subscriber count or striving for ads. I'm just doing this for fun. Question 4. Why do you love reading? I love reading because I started when I was really, really young, and it was just part of my bedtime routine. And because it was part of my bedtime routine, I just got comfort out of it. I spent time with my mom, and we snuggled, and I got comfort out of it. And so even though I'm older now, and I don't snuggle with my mom as much anymore, I still find comfort out of reading. And when I'm stressed or I need to relax, I do that. I read, and it brings me enjoyment and helps me relax. Some people meditate, and I do that. But you don't just have to sit down and cross your legs and take a deep breath to meditate. There are different forms of meditation, and reading is one of those for me. So 5, what book or series got me into reading? There isn't a series or book that I can pin down that got me into reading because, as I just said, I did it from such an early age and it brought me comfort, and that's why I love to read, that it wasn't just a book or a series. However, there are 4 series that I remember distinctly reading as a child. The first one is Warriors by Aaron Hunter. I remember reading that and loving it. And then as I got older, I read Chronicles of Narnia, and I loved the magical element to it. I read all 7 of them. I started with technically what would be called book 2, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but I have read all 7 of them. It was a really fun time. And then after Chronicles of Narnia, I read Harry Potter, and I loved it. I even went to Harry Potter World in Orlando and absolutely had a magical time there. My sister went as far as to write me a letter on my 11th birthday, telling me that I got accepted to Hogwarts, and I was over the moon excited. Unfortunately, that never actually happened. And then the last series that I remember reading as a child was The Belgariad by David Eddings. I was craving something like Harry Potter, and so I asked my mom, like, what else should I read? And she said, The Belgariad. And I was like, do I? Because she described it to me, and she's like, yeah, like Aunt Paul. And I was like, oh my God, Aunt Paul seems like this old lady. Like, do I really want to read something about this old lady who's like taking care of like her nephew? And then I read it and I was like, oh my God, you didn't tell me that like Aunt Paul isn't old, because that was like my big thing was like, Aunt Paul's old. Do I really want to read something about this old aunt? No, she's not old. So anyway, those were the 4 books that I distinctly remember reading as a child, and I still go back to The Belgariad as my comfort book. So yeah. Question 6. What challenges will you face? I am a college student, and so I'm not going to be able to upload consistently once the school year starts. I will have a very heavy load. I'm going into my junior year, and I have an internship coming up as part of my program, so I will not be able to upload consistently. My plan is to really have this be like a summertime project, because again, I'm only doing this for enjoyment, and I don't want to put pressure on myself to upload when I'm really, really busy. I know it'll be a struggle because, people come to YouTube for consistent content, and I won't be consistent except in the summer. I will also, now that I think about it, be consistent on breaks. So Christmas break, spring break, that type of thing. But other than that, from September to June, my content really won't be consistent. And then June through August, September-ish, is when my content will be consistent. Last question, question 7. What books do you like to read? My friend asked me this the other day, and she said, just out of curiosity, what genres do you like to read? And I said, I don't know. I've been on a really weird romance kick, and I've really started to enjoy romance. Before, it was fantasy and sci-fi. And then I got into a romance novel, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and it just started my whole romance journey. I have read several romances now and have loved almost all of them. So I've been into romance lately. I'm getting back into fantasy now, and other than that, I pretty much read anything except for horror and murder mysteries. Horror, I absolutely will not read. I refuse because I hate being scared. I hate the whole jump scare part of it, and so I hate horror. Murder mysteries, maybe it's just because I haven't found the right author or something, but I just really don't like them. And then anything with cowboys in it. I don't know why. There's nothing really behind this. I'm not really interested. So yeah, that was all the questions. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any more questions in the comments down below, and I will do my best to answer them. Until next time.